What's up, you guys? What's up, YouTube? No one's in that. No one's even watching right now, but hopefully someone comes in. I'm gonna make this an open panel. Let me drop the link in the chat. I want to start going live more regularly. I'm thinking about doing daily Bible studies. I want to get into the Word more, and yeah, one of the things that will get me into the Word more was if I study the Word and live here on YouTube, and maybe other people who are interested in the Word and the Bible can come on my open panels and speak with me, and we can have constructive dialogue about the Bible and the world around us today. I wanted to do a Bible study today, but I'm gonna hold that off for tomorrow. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on in the world, so it's important, especially for Black men, to know who we are as a people and what times we're living in. We are indeed living in the end times. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on all around us. Some people are not woke to it, but I know what's going on, and I just want to spread the knowledge to whoever would like to listen. There's food shortages. You know, I went to Starbucks today, and there's a note on the door, in the front door of the Starbucks that said they're having food shortages at the Starbucks, and they won't they're not able to have certain items that they usually have. Then a couple weeks ago, it was all over the news that there were baby food shortages. I never in my life ever heard a shortage of baby food. If little babies can't eat, they won't be able to survive and grow into young men and young women. So these are some very crazy times we're living in. We're on the cusp of a famine. We're on the cusp of a famine. You know, there are going to be food shortages. A friend of mine who lives in Washington D.C. A few months ago, earlier this year, he he told me and showed me pictures of when he was at a Walmart, in the grocery section of Walmart, and a whole aisle was missing of food. And he was telling me, man, there's a famine that's coming up. There's going to be food shortages. And he showed me the picture. I'm like, dang, for real? And yeah, these are the end times. We're in the age of tribulation. And we're in the 7-year age of tribulation. But we're at the beginning we're still in the first half of tribulation. You know, we're not at the crazy part of tribulation. yet, but we're fast approaching the crazy part of tribulation. The first half of tribulation, the first 3.5 years of tribulation is supposed to come off as normal. The first half of tribulation, we're supposed to just be living our normal lives, right? Even under this COVID situation, right? Society still changed with this COVID situation. Certain stores closed earlier, certain businesses shut down because of COVID, and COVID affected society, but with this COVID situation, we're still able to live normal lives, right? We can still go to the store, we can still go to work, we can still just relax at our homes and use the internet, watch TV, listen to the radio, things of that nature, So we still live a pretty much normal life. Society has changed because of the COVID-19, but we're still living a normal life. You know, Nothing crazy has really happened yet, but there are a few signs, you know, of there's something's about to pop off soon. you know, um, like I said, we have signs of a famine. We have crazy stuff, mass shootings happening every day now. There's a mass shooting in Buffalo, 10 black people killed. Then a week later, there was another mass shooting in Texas where like 20 kids were killed. Then I've heard a couple other stories of mass shootings. Then there was a mass shooting in New York City like last month in the subway in Brooklyn. Like several people were shot. These mass shootings are happening more regularly. So we're witnessing the transition of society right in front of our eyes. Um, yeah, in the first half of tribulation, life is supposed to be pretty much normal. In the first half of tribulation, the crazy stuff doesn't fully pop off yet. The crazy stuff in tribulation happens in the second half of tribulation. The second 3.5 years of tribulation is when the real famine start. People going crazy, race wars, and World War III, countries fighting against each other, nation against nation. That begins the second half of tribulation. And it's crazy. We're seeing the beginnings of those crazy events that lead to the craziness begin in the first half of tribulation. So we're seeing the early signs we're seeing the early signs of the famine, right? Shortage of baby food, right? We're seeing the early signs of people going crazy, mass shootings happening right now every other day. We're seeing the early signs of World War III, China against Russia. Let me say that again. We're seeing the early signs of World War III, right? Russia attacking Ukraine. And the whole Russia Ukraine thing is not what everyone thinks it is, right? The whole Russia and Ukraine war is really a proxy war between Russia and the United States. You know, USA is funding majority of Ukraine's weapons to fight the Russians, right? USA is the ones who are giving Ukraine weaponry to fight Russia. So it's not really Ukraine fighting Russia, it's Russia against the United States. It's called a proxy war. You know, China wants to take over Taiwan, right? And USA says if China makes a move in Taiwan, then USA will intervene against China. So basically, it's Russia, China against the United States. That's going to be World War III. It's going to be Russia, China, South Korea, you know, all those countries who have the big missiles, nuclear weapons are going to go to war with the United States. And it says it in the Bible, Babylon is going to be burned by fire. This whole kingdom is going to be hit with nuclear bombs. And we're seeing all this take place. We're in the calm before the storm, right? We're definitely in the calm before the storm. We're right on the cliff right now. You know, let's say you're walking in the woods, right? You've never been to the woods before in that city you're in, right? You're walking in the woods, you see all these beautiful trees, all these rocks, you see all these beautiful plants and animals, birds are chirping, right? Then unknowingly, you're walking on a cliff. You're not paying attention and you're on the cliff. You're right on the edge of the cliff now, right? And one of your foot, one of your feet is on the rock on the cliff. Then your second foot is off the cliff, about to jump off the cliff, not knowing, you know. And we're in that same situation right now, you know. We're on the cliff, but we haven't jumped off the cliff fully, but we're almost there. And a lot of us, we don't even know we're on the cliff and we're finna walk off the cliff because we're so amazed and we're paying attention to our everyday lives. You know, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, you know, we're working our jobs, you know. So we're indulged and distracted by our everyday doings without knowing, without paying attention to what's really going on in the world. And we're right on the edge of the crazy shit happening in the end times. But we're not there yet. We're right there to the crazy shit happening. You know, we're still in the first half of tribulation. You know, we're still living our normal lives. But I'll say the next year or two, that's when the crazy shit is going to start happening in the end times. You know, we're right there on the cliff, but we haven't jumped off the cliff yet. We haven't walked off the cliff yet, but we're on the cliff. If you take one more step, then boom, that's when all the crazy shit is going to happen. We probably have a year or two before the crazy shit happens in the end times. I'm telling you, we think it's good right now, but within like a year or two, but that's when the crazy shit is going to happen. Um, I think the change is gonna. I think something crazy is gonna happen in 2023, next year. I believe the rest of this year is gonna be pretty much normal life. The first few months of 2023 is gonna be normal, but something's gonna happen in 2023. I believe that is going to make the whole world finally realize that we're indeed living in the end times. People, some people right now who are awoke, who know what's truly going on. Some of those people, they can kind of connect the dots of what's going on in the world, and they see what it says in the Bible, and they can apply it to today's age when they see a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. A lot of the stuff they say in the Bible in the end times is going on today in our current world. So there's certain people right now who indeed know what times we're living in. We're living in the end times, but there's a lot of people who are ignorant. You know, 2023 is going to be when the ignorant people finally wake up and realize we're living in the end times. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but there's going to be something that happens next year, I believe, where everybody knows, oh, this is the end times. We're right at the edge of the crazy shit popping off. You know, I could use another analogy, right? You ever been to a city or a suburb, right? Let's say you live you live on the outskirts of a big city, right? But you live in a suburb. You know, the suburb you live in is rich, has big houses, nice green yards, nice beautiful trees, nice vegetation, people walking their dogs, you know, mansions. You live in a beautiful suburb right outside of a big city. You look around, you see all these big houses, people living nice, and you assume if you're new in town, right? If you're new in town and don't know the area, you assume that, hey, it's going to be like this. It's going to be beautiful like this suburb for the next 10 miles. Then you're walking down the street, you see all these big houses. Then out of nowhere, you get to the city limits. And as soon as you cross the street to the city limits, the whole neighborhood changes to a hood ass neighborhood. Dirty grass, trash on the front lawns, uncut grass on the lawns, people bumping loud music, getting into arguments on the streets, people selling drugs on the corner. And you didn't know that. You were living a good life in a suburb with the big houses. Then as soon as you cross the street to the city, the whole atmosphere changed. That's where we are right now. We're at the edge of the suburb where everything looks nice and all sweet. Then as soon as you cross the street, it gets to a crazy ass neighborhood. That's where we're at right now in terms of the end times. We're right there to the crazy shit before it happens. It's important as black men to know who we are. It's very important as black men to know who we are. I've been woken up. My experiences in this racist society has woken me up to know who I am as a black man. I am a bloodline Hebrew. I'm a bloodline Hebrew Israelite. And my experiences led me to know who I am. I go through society, women acting funny towards me, right? I'll sit down next to a woman, on a bus, and she'll change her seat 3 times just because I sat down next to her. I see a woman, right? And she'll give me this look that says, I can get you in trouble because you're a black man. Don't talk to me. Or a woman will see me, and she'll cross the street, run away from me just to tear me down. Or I'll be walking down the street and I'll see a policeman, and sometimes a policeman will stop me because they say I look suspicious, right? Or I go to the grocery store and security guards follow me around every aisle just to fuck with me, just to give me a hard time. I go to the workplace, I get fired from off my first day, even though I work perfectly. You know, these are some of the experiences black men have in this everyday society. And the intelligent black men would come and think to themselves, like, man, this is something deeper. Like, why does this society hate me so much? What did I do to people? It's not only because of my skin tone. Just because I'm a certain skin tone doesn't mean the whole world has to hate me. Just because I'm darker than you? No. It's because who you are spiritually, black man. It's not only part of it is because of your skin tone, black man, but it's at its deepest root. The reason why this society hates you, black man, is because who you are. You're God's chosen men. You're God's chosen men, and there's a spiritual war in the end times against you. So that's why you receive all this hate, because you're a bloodline Israelites. And we're still under the curses of Deuteronomy, right? Go to the book of Deuteronomy or research the book of Deuteronomy, right? In Google, right? Research on Google, research the curses of Deuteronomy, right? The curses of Deuteronomy have to deal with the curses that are put on God's chosen people, the Hebrew Israelites. All the curses in Deuteronomy against the Hebrew Israelites are all the curses that undeniably black people are going through and have been going through for the last several hundreds of years. So you cannot tell me that the black man is not God's chosen. We are. And it's important to know who we are in these end times. Everything that's happening in this world has to do with the black man because we're God's chosen people. From the wars in the Middle East to the upcoming famines to the invention of feminism, it's all because of the black man, right? And There has been a specific agenda against the black man because the powers that be, they know who we are. They have to suppress the black man. You know, the powers that be have to suppress the black man, oppress us, you know, because they know who we are. They see the black man as a threat. The powers that be, society in general, they see the black man as a threat. You know, why do they see the black man as a threat? You know, the black man, we've been oppressed for so many years. Why are we still seen as a threat after we've been oppressed for so many years? We don't have a strong military or anything like that. So the black man, why is the black man still a threat? We're a threat because they know who we are. They know we're God's chosen people, and they know that this world belongs to the Hebrew Israelite, and we're going to rule this world again. And the white man knows that. So he's his number one, the white man's number one job is to keep his time on top for the longest time he can. He knows, the white man knows the Bible. The white man knows his time to rule the earth is limited. But to ensure that he continues to rule the earth, he has to suppress the people who are supposed to rule the earth, which is the black man. You know, they know who we are. That's why they've been targeting us, black men, for the longest, for generations after generation, because they know we're God's chosen people. They know we're God's chosen people know more than we as black people know who we are. And we know that black people, I don't mean all black people, not all black people, you know, there's black people from all over the world, you know. Some black people are Hamitic, the seed of Ham. You know, a lot of East Africans are Hamitic, certain Kenyans, certain Ethiopians, you know, certain Sudanese people are Hamitic, you know. Hamitic black people are not Israelites. You know, the part of Africa you see more of the Israelites, the bloodline Israelites are people of West African, quote unquote, West African descent. We are the Israelites. Not all West African black people are Israelites, but I say the majority of people, the majority of people of West African descent are bloodline Israelites. Hey, whoever's watching, whoever's watching, y'all can come up on this live stream and chop it up with me. But yeah, we're God's chosen people, the black man. That's why everybody hates us in this society. You know, that's why there's such a strong opposition against the black man in this society. It's a spiritual war against us, you know. It's an evil, satanic, spiritual war against God's chosen people, you know, and it's led by Satan and Esau. Satan operates on this earth through Esau. Esau is the white man, basically. Satan operates on this earth through the white man. I'm not saying all white people are evil. I'm not even saying all Hebrew Israelites are good people, but collectively, the negative things that have been happening on this earth mainly come from one race of people going country to country, colonizing country to country, going to country and country, raping women, stealing resources, enslaving people, invading countries. That has mainly been the white man. The white man is Esau, and Esau opposes and has a hatred for the children of Israel, right? And I can really tell y'all some black pill shit. I could tell y'all some black pill shit that y'all not really ready for. Y'all not really ready for this information I'm finna give y'all. Jesus, right? Jesus' real name wasn't even Jesus. Some people say Jesus' real name was Yeshua. Some people say his real name was Yahweh Shai, you know. But we surely know his name was not Jesus. There was no J's in the Hebrew language, right? So his name couldn't have been Jesus. Jesus is supposed to return to earth, right? Isn't Christ supposed to return to earth? Most people misinterpret Jesus' return to earth. A lot of people, for some reason, it's not, it's because they misinterpret the Bible. Um, some of the Bible is not meant to be interpreted 100% literally. A lot of the Bible is allegorical and metaphorical, means it's not supposed to be interpreted by its literal saying, some of it. So when it says Jesus is supposed to return from the clouds, all eyes shall see him upon his return, it might not literally mean that we're gonna when Jesus returns, all of the earth, everybody in the earth will see Jesus pop out of the sky from the clouds. The scripture might not mean that. It might be a metaphor for something different. All eyes shall see him. The Bible said when Jesus returns, all eyes shall see him. That might not mean everybody who's on the earth is going to see Jesus at the same time. Like it might not be like a celestial event. Like people think Jesus is just going to return and everyone's just gonna look up, and his return is gonna be like a UFO in the sky with bright lights, and everyone's just goes. I don't know if his return is going to be like that, but when it says all eyes shall see him, that could mean that when Jesus is back on this earth, he'll have a presence that's so strong and unique that it will captivate a lot of people's attention. So a lot of people will notice him wherever he goes. All eyes shall see him. That can just mean when Jesus is back on this earth, he'll have a strong presence which will make him the center of attention everywhere he goes. Right? Then A lot of places in a lot of books of the Bible, they refer to Jesus' second coming as the Son of Man. Do you know what the Son of Man means? If Jesus is supposed to return as the Son of Man, that means he's supposed to return to earth as a human being. Son of Man literally means human being. Go on Google and search on Son of Man. You know, Son of Man literally means a human being. So when it says in the Bible that and it refers to Jesus' second coming as the Son of Man, that means Jesus is supposed to return as a human being. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible for a human being to be able to pop out the sky from clouds. I Hey, I never seen a human being pop out the sky from clouds. Maybe it's possible, but I highly doubt that's possible. In order for a son of man, in order for a human being to come back to earth, that human being has to be reborn into earth. No human being can just pop out the sky. A human being cannot exist in heaven. People think Jesus is just going to return to earth from heaven. But how can that be if a human being is not in heaven? Jesus is supposed to return to earth as a son of man. A son of man is a human being, right? A human being cannot exist in heaven. I don't think heaven is a physical place, you know? The only way a human being, a physical human being, can come back to earth is through reincarnation. Jesus is returning as a reincarnated man. And we're already in the age of tribulation, so connect the dots. Jesus is returning to earth as a physical man. His 1,000-year reign is on earth. Jesus' 1,000-year reign is on earth. So he's coming back to earth physically. Heaven is not a physical location. So he can't just come directly from heaven to earth as a full-grown man. No, that's not possible. He's coming back to earth by rebirth, reincarnation. That's a shock to many people because most people misinterpret the Bible. Most people misinterpret the Bible. If Jesus returns to earth as a human being, right? I already told you before that the Hebrew Israelites are black people. So Jesus is going to return as a black man, right? If Jesus is a black man in today's society, how would people treat Jesus? Jesus is a Hebrew Israelite. Hebrew Israelites are black. So Jesus is returning as a black man. In today's society, how does today's society treat black men? Does this society typically treat black men well? No. Black men face workplace discrimination. Black men are more likely to be killed by the police. Black men suffer from being stereotyped and having negative perceptions. You know, Black men experience sexual oppression where women on purpose don't give us the time of day just to tear us down. This is what black men collectively face. So if Jesus returns as a black man, how would this society treat him? Will they be nice to him? Will they respect him? Does this society typically respect people who look like Jesus? No, because Jesus was a black man. So theoretically, if Jesus comes back to earth, he will be a hated man. If Jesus comes back to earth as a black man, this racist society will not like him. And how do I know this? I know this because this society has an issue with black men who are great. This society does not like great black men. Floyd Mayweather, for example, you know, Floyd Mayweather, he's talented, rich, extremely skilled, great businessman. A lot of people would consider him the greatest boxer who ever stepped in the ring, right? But people hate, even though Floyd Mayweather has all these great qualities about himself, people still hate him. People still dislike him. You know, whenever Mayweather fights, people buy his pay-per-views just to see the possibility of him losing. And that's because this society does not like seeing a great black man who is a winner. People dislike Floyd Mayweather because this society does not like a black man, a great black man who is a winner, right? You already know how this society is. You cannot erase history. So basically, this society opposes great black men, right? Just like how they oppose Floyd Mayweather. So you really think these people who are on this earth today, who hate black men, who hate the bloodline Israelites, who oppressed us for so many years and we still get the oppression today, you think these same people would not treat Jesus like shit? Come on. They would. That's why a lot of these people are not going to be in the kingdom because they hate the black man. You can't be in the kingdom of heaven if you have a hatred for God's chosen people. You can't. How can you be a racist and love Jesus? You feel me? That's why a lot of people are not going to make it into the kingdom because their spirit is not in the right place. The spirit of racism, the spirit of anti-Semitism, the hatred of God's chosen people. It's all around us. We as black men, we experience this shit every day, right? But all right, you guys, peace.